Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we are going to take a look at one of the age-old credit card questions, and that is, can a credit card issuer or the bank who's giving you the credit card actually see what you're buying? And if so, what exactly can they see about your purchases and your transactions at stores? This is exactly what we're going to explore today. So if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So, this is a question that gets asked a lot, and I will be honest, there's not a ton of solid information out there, at least current up-to-date information. Everything I've found is probably from 2014, 2015. Some of the links I'll post technically don't even go to this site anymore. But I do believe it to be somewhat still accurate, and probably, it's probably gotten worse, if anything, since then. Starting out with this, why would you necessarily care? I mean, there's the whole privacy thing, of course, but, you're making the purchase in public, presumably. The reason is that we care, and this keeps coming up, is because a lot of us like to buy generally loads of gift cards or Visa reloads to kind of help meet minimum spends, help max out rotating categories and things like that. And some of this stuff, while it's not necessarily bad, it is against the terms and conditions of the credit card. These are kind of like cash equivalents. I have videos on manufacturer spend I can link to down below. I'll give you some more information on that. So that's kind of why we care. It's not necessarily that they need to know I bought 8 hamburgers at McDonald's or whatever, right? So the credit card issuers are receiving some type of data. And the answer is yes, to just tell you up front, but it depends on what kind of level that the store is sending to the issuer. There are 4 levels of data that the store can send based on the credit card machine they have and the agreement they have with the card issuers. So we're going to first go through all these levels, and then we'll take a look at a chart to show you which exact data fields are sent based on the level, what this all means. So here we have it, starting out with level 1 data. So this is typical consumer data, such as the amount of transaction, time and date the transaction was processed. So the cardholder generally using a personal credit card issued from a U.S. bank. This can be processed with a standard credit card machine or PC processing program. Then you step up to level 2 data. So cardholder generally using a corporate or business credit card can be processed with a standard credit card and machine or a PC processing program as well. You have level 3 data, and this is where it gets interesting. So this level is also known as line item detail. So the same information that is found on an itemized invoice is communicated. A cardholder generally using a corporate or government credit card. This does require a special credit card machine or additional PC processing software. And then lastly, you have level 4 data. So level 4 is known as bespoke data. Now, bespoke's a fancy way of saying like custom made. So this contains special information that is captured and delivered outside of level 3. Unfortunately, we don't know much about this, or not much has been published. So there you go. You can kind of see that in level 3 is where things really get interesting. So if you've ever looked at an actual invoice, they do tell you a lot of stuff, the time, the date, the amount, what exactly you purchased. It's your bill of sale and that document that documents the purchase. So things like that, and that are listed, at least in level 3, the same as it would be on an invoice, and that's what kind of snitches us out, so to speak, depending upon if the issuer or the store is sending level 3. So, but that's still kind of vague. So what exactly are the data fields that they are transmitting through level 1, 2, and 3? Because remember, level 4, when they say bespoke, that's likely some kind of custom agreement where a card issuer or someone wants to know a specific thing and asking them to build that out for them. So let's take a look at this chart now and see what the data fields are. And so here we have it. These are the data types. On the left-hand side, data type means data field. Then you have level 1, 2, and 3 moving over to the right. So you can see right here, level 1 just goes down 3 rows. Like they said, merchant name, transaction amount, and date. Those are like the basic things you would need for a sale. And actually, if you think about those little small receipts you get sometimes, that's basically all they have on there. Now, if you move to level 2, you can see we go down a little bit. We add some customer codes, tax amounts, merchant postal codes. So basically, it looks like you add some location data, perhaps, and some stuff about the merchant. You've got some state codes in there as well. Now, level 3, you can see all the way down level 3 is everything is yes, all these data types. And so if you go down a ways, you can see the item description, the product code, the quantity, using of measurement, basically anything there that's actually going to tell you exactly what the item was. So that right there, again, we can see the level 3 is where this comes into effect, and then we end up getting snitched out. So if they are transmitting level 3, then yes, they will be able to know, in fact, that you're buying multiple gift cards. Now let's talk about why does this happen. Well, on the surface of it, it doesn't really seem like there's much in it for the storefront to actually transmit this data either one way or the other. Now, companies are always trying to gather as much data as we can. Have you ever heard the term like data lake? They're just give me all the data points, and then whenever someone from management or sales or what have you comes around, they can go to their data science team and say, hey, build me this type of customer profile, build me this type of report, and hopefully they have all the data points they need in this data lake, this data warehouse, and they can put them together, build out those profiles. This is kind of how they learn more about their customers, learn how to make more targeted things. So, American Express could see, oh, well, I see a bunch of people who use the Amex green card go to this one place in this one location to buy this one thing. They can also use that information, to show potential folks looking to partner with Amex, add Amex offers, add more coupons, things like that. So that's kind of why the issuers would want it. But why do the stores actually give it to them? Well, there's actually two reasons that we know of at least. So let's take a look at this. So number one is reduced payment time. So merchants typically must wait between 30 and 60 days to receive funds from credit card transactions. However, if they provide level 3 data, they can have these funds released as soon as the next business day. Now, the other reason, lower credit and processing fees. Because level 2 and 3 data is usually reserved for business, commercial, and government credit cards, they can receive a lower card processing fee when providing level 2 and level 3 data. That's because fraud and other chargebacks are far less, and thus costs are lower than when compared to consumer transactions. Again, I understand this stuff is from 2014, 2015, so it's really referencing, consumer business cards, commercial cards, things like that. I would still make a safe assumption, I believe, that this does apply to all personal cards now. And the reason being is also in the mid-2000s, 2015, maybe earlier, we switched over from the swiping your card to called dipping your card, the chip and pin thing where you insert your card. So at that point, everyone kind of upgraded. They had to upgrade their credit card machine. So while I don't have a ton of information on the levels of data, say, hey, you need a specialized computer system or what have you to process this type of data, I would think it's a safe assumption to say during that upgrade, everyone has the capability of doing this now, especially with the processing fees and stuff, the benefit that the stores are going to get. So I would assume this does apply to personal cards as well as per business, government, commercial, all that stuff. So there you have it. Now, even if they aren't getting this data, how else could they know? Well, there are some basic things that we do that are very weird behavior. So if you ever gone to the store trying to buy a bunch of gift cards, the max you can do in one transaction at any store is like $500 for a gift card. And so if you're doing that, maybe you're buying a Best Buy gift card at $500, that's going to be a tip off, because even if they're receiving level 1 data, it still shows you the exact amount, and it's not too hard for Chase to say like, well, my category was drugstores or gas stations or whatever it is, and someone spent $500, and it's well known that the $500 is the top amount you can spend on a gift card in one transaction. Also, if you're doing the Visa reloads, it's going to be like $500 is the max you can do. Then you're going to have that activation fee, which is like $3 or $4. It comes out to a very specific amount. So if you're doing things like that, if you're doing a lot of transactions back to back to back, of the same amount, they can tell. So there are ways to do that. In fact, I was having an issue with the card getting locked one time, and I called into Chase, and they asked me straight up, "Why were you trying to buy a gift card?" Chase doesn't seem to care as much, so I just told him yes, it was. But it's also very obvious. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to receive level 3 data to be able to see this. So if you're doing this, you can always throw in, your gift cards in lesser amounts, throw them into your grocery cart, something like that. I mean, you're never really going to get attacked for buying a one gift card like $100 one a time or two, something like that. Or just stick to issuers that we know are comfortable with this, being like Chase, for example, who just doesn't seem to care because, again, Chase still makes money on these transactions. Now, last thing here, how can you tell what data they're receiving? Well, I'm just telling you this for history's sake. There used to be a way to do it. It was called Visa Locator Tool. It's a tool on Visa's site where you could go and you could look up a store, and it would show you what type of data they were sending. It had like L1, 2, or 3 data. And actually, I have an older video where I reference this tool. However, unfortunately, Visa has since moved this tool from just being free to the public. They've moved it to like a paid business-to-business subscription service now, which I don't think is worth paying for. So you used to be able to do this. Now, there's not really a good way to tell Honestly, I mean, you could probably look on your credit card statement, see what kind of information they list. Again, if it's itemized, I've seen some folks saying, hey, I have like the example I saw was I had like a co-branded Sam's Club card or something, and it was listed out exactly what they bought. So you can always check your credit card statement. Sometimes there's more information in the full PDF version online in your banking portal. But overall, there's not really an easy way to tell anymore. So again, to wrap this one up, I generally assume that everyone's submitting level 3 data to the issuers now. I really don't see how they couldn't be. I don't know that for fact. Again, for some reason, there's not a ton of information about this, but I think that's a safe assumption to make. So again, make sure you're checking your data points for the individual card or the individual bank, making sure that, hey, this issuer is comfortable or okay with me buying a bunch of gift cards like Chase. We know American Express isn't. They run a rewards abuse team who will claw back those points, for example. So data points, and again, if you are going to do it and you're concerned about it, I think, go slower, mix it into your other purchases, if you will. If you're going to the grocery store every week, maybe you throw a few in there, something like that. You don't always make it come out to exact amounts, perhaps. You can do things like that as well. And of course, drop your data points down below or other workarounds if you have any. So there we have it. That is the answer. Always assume that the issuers are spying on us and the stores are snitching us out. So anyways, guys, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. My question for you guys is, let me know what you think about this. In the age of data and privacy protection and all that, this definitely could be a controversial topic. We really only covered it from the angle of credit card rewards, but there's definitely another angle here, so let me know how you feel about that, what your thoughts are. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.